Before Dog the Bounty Hunter would find himself arrested in the late 70s and serve a stint in prison for a drug-related killing. Before Dog the Bounty Hunter would reinvent himself as a real-life manhunter chasing down bail jumpers all over the United States. Before Dog the Bounty Hunter would set his sights on Gabby Petito's ex-boyfriend, Brian Laundrie.
Because I lost a daughter at about the same age, I know what the parents feel like, okay?
Duane Lee Chapman, or as the rest of us better know him, Dog the Bounty Hunter, well, he jumped on the fame train back in the early 2000s after his exploits tracking down fugitives and bail jumpers, well, it snagged him his very own A&E television series. Now, he single-handedly put the TV show Cops out of business. And that show, well, it just had the best theme song of all time. I'm saying it's tough to do. Soon enough, Dog the Bounty Hunter, well, he was a massive hit in TV ratings, and he became a household name as well as a super popular Halloween costume. I mean, the long blonde hair, the signature wraparound shades, and his gang of eccentric family members, well, no one could take their eyes off this man. But there's a lot more to Dog's story, and honestly, well, most of it's pretty tragic. We're talking jail time, broken relationships, and the passing of not one, but two children. Now, Dog the Bounty Hunter, he's seen it all through the years and lived to tell the tale. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Michael McCrudden, taking a closer look at the come-up story of Dog the Bounty Hunter, here for you, of course, on Before They're Famous. As always, this show works off requests from you guys, so be sure to let us know who's next. Now let's get into this video. Dog the Bounty Hunter was born Duane Lee Chapman on February 2nd, 1953 in Denver, Colorado. Now, Duane's father, Wesley, he was a former veteran of the Korean War, and he worked as a welder during his son's childhood. While Duane's mother, Barbara, she was a minister for the Assemblies of God Church. So what did that look like? Well, I googled it, and it turns out it looks something like this.
Thank God His grace is sufficient. I'm on my way home tonight. I said I'm on my way home tonight.
From the outside looking in, will you be forgiven for thinking that Dog was leading a typical childhood? After all, he was growing up in a middle-class Denver neighborhood with parents and 3 siblings, but in reality, Dog's home life, well, it was anything but loving. Now, it turns out that as a young boy, Dog and his siblings, well, they were often victimized at the hands of their father, something that Dog originally didn't see as domestic abuse, but instead as a rite of passage. In fact, he told the CTV, "Just thinking of the abuse I endured can make me cry. I was expected to take it like a man, but I wasn't a man. I was a young boy looking for love and approval from my father. I was desperate for his affection, so I ignored the pain." Now, this would become a cycle of abuse that Dog would vow to break when he himself became a father. A promise that he was thankfully able to keep, but we're not at that part of the story just yet. As a teenager, well, Dog, he dropped out of school and he ran away from home. Now, considering what he was living with, well, that shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. Then at the age of 15, well, he joined up with the Devil's Disciples, which is a renegade motorcycle gang. I googled them as well. This is what I found.
One gang is striving to rule this city. The Devil's Disciples.
Now, soon after joining their ranks, well, Dog, he would find himself with a record of arrest for armed robbery and other crimes. But it was one particular night in Texas in 1976 that would change his life forever. A 23-year-old Dog was in Texas alongside some of his associates when a cannabis deal, of all things, well, it would go all types of wrong. An argument broke out between Dog, his friends, and the dealer wound up shot to death. Now, Dog and his friends, they were arrested, and despite the responding officer agreeing that Dog's role in the crime was minor, well, each person present was charged with murder and eventually found guilty. We're talking about weed here, guys. That is, come on. I mean, it's like in vending machines now.
6 in the morning, the radio alarm went off for my work, and it said Dog Disciple was my name. Devil's Disciple is being sought for the shotgun slaying massacre of Jerry Oliver last night in Pampa, Texas.
He died.
And he died overnight.
Dog was given a 5-year prison sentence, and it was during this period of time that he would stumble upon the path that he's still on today. Now, during an attempted prison break, well, Dog, he tackled an escaping inmate just before he was about to be shot by a prison guard. Once he had secured the escaping convict, well, a prison guard walked up to Dog, tossed him some cuffs, and told him, "Hook him up, bounty hunter." After this capture, well, his correction officer applauded his efforts, but warned him that his fellow inmates, well, they might not be so receptive to what he had done. Now, Dog, he was convinced that they realized he only stopped the man to save his life, and guess what? It turns out he was right. The next morning, Dog says he woke up to offerings of cigarettes, candy bars, stamps, and a whole lot more from the other prisoners. And that was the day Dog the Bounty Hunter was truly born. But as much as prison would change Dog's life for the better, well, it would also take a lot from him as well. Now, for starters, while he was serving his sentence, unbeknownst to him, well, one of his former romantic partners, Debbie White, well, she gave birth to his son, Christopher Hecht. Sadly, Debbie, well, she would actually commit suicide while Dog was still locked up, and he never learned about Christopher's existence until after he was out of prison. That was also during his stay in the icebox that his first marriage to LaFonda Sue Honeycutt, well, that one ended in divorce, with her reportedly leaving Dog for his best friend. Ouch, that like double hurts. Thanks to his behavior inside, labeled as being like a model inmate, well, Dog's sentence was eventually reduced and he was released after only serving 18 months. Now, soon afterwards, well, Dog, he would marry his second wife, Anna Tengel, and with whom he would have 3 children. Unfortunately, there was a baby who was born prematurely and passed away only 30 days after his birth back in 1980. Now, Dog's second marriage, well, it ultimately wouldn't survive this tragic loss. Now, over the next 2 decades, well, Dog, he would get married and divorced a further 2 times, but it was the news he made with his prolific arrest of Andrew Luster. Listen, wait till you hear about this guy. He was a fugitive, heir to a cosmetic company who had been known for slipping illegal substances into women's drinks. Only then to, do the sicko thing of taking advantage of them. Now, this bust had turned Dog into an international star, and after tracking the fugitive south of the border, well, Dog, he had him extradited back to the US. But he had to deal with his own complications of being arrested for suppression of liberty while in Mexico. Dog and his crew would eventually bail out and then flee the country, and a little over a year later, well, Dog the Bounty Hunter, he would premiere on A&E. And that show, it ran for 8 seasons before it was canceled in 2012. Now, just because Dog was now a big-time television star, well, that doesn't mean his life got any easier. In fact, not at all. Shortly after the premiere of his new show, well, Dog, he would marry his then girlfriend and on-screen partner, Beth. The two tied the knot in Hawaii in 2006, but as it seems to be the case with Dog, well, the guy can't seem to have something nice happen to him without something terribly tragic happen in the exact same time. Now, this time, the night prior to his wedding day, well, Dog received the heartbreaking news that one of his daughters, Barbara, well, she had been killed in a car accident. Now, unsure of what to do next, well, Dog, he met with his minister who helped him decide to carry through with the wedding without mentioning what had happened to everyone gathered there. Instead, they would wait until the reception, which then they would turn that into a celebration of Barbara's life.
According to contemporary reports, the circumstances surrounding the death of Dog's 23-year-old daughter were somewhat checkered.
About 5 years later, well, Dog, he would take in Barbara's son after her husband began to abuse the child. Now, him having been through that kind of stuff himself, well, Dog, he stepped in to gain custody. Over the course of the next few years, well, A&E's Dog the Bounty Hunter, it would come to an end and eventually give way to CMT's Dog and Beth on the Hunt. That program would run for 3 seasons before ending in 2016. Now, a year later, Dog and Beth, they would receive devastating news. Beth, she had stage 2 cancerous tumors which were growing in her throat. Beth underwent a 12-hour surgery that removed the plum-sized tumor, and the surgery was a success. And for a short time, well, the two, they celebrated. Unfortunately, it wouldn't last. By November of 2018, well, the cancer was back, and 6 months later, well, Dog, he let us all know that Beth, well, she had passed away at the age of just 51. The third spin-off series, Dog's Most Wanted, it was ordered by WGN America in 2019, and while Dog was still dutifully arresting fugitives, well, he was mainly grieving over the loss of his closest partner.
We're holding up. I don't know how yet. I'll learn to explain it later, but it just... something you just don't want to face.
Yeah.
There's reasons why you must.
3 months after Beth's passing, well, Dog, he had a medical emergency of his own when he began complaining of chest pains. Now, he was then diagnosed with a potentially lethal artery blockage, and doctors recommended he stay in the hospital to receive treatment. But Dog, well, he refused. Instead, he checked himself out because he knew, well, they couldn't stop him.
Dog confessed that he hadn't fulfilled a promise he'd made to his beloved wife, Beth, to quit smoking.
The cherry on top of this Sunday of tragedy, well, after paying for all of Beth's medical bills, well, Dog, he was practically broke. Lost and rudderless, the only saving grace in Dog's life has become his new marriage to Frances Frayne. Now, thanks to her support, well, Dog is now ready to get back to doing what he does best, and apparently the next target he's on is none other than Brian Laundrie, which, is the former boyfriend of Gabby Petito and a current person of interest in Gabby's murder case. Will Dog find this man yet again? And will bad things finally stop happening to our boy Dog? Well, we can only wait and see. We do hope for the best. After all, this is before they were famous. So, the rest of the story, I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see. Or I guess we could do a Where Are They Now on Dog, or The Rich Life on Dog, but it sounds like he's not that rich. God damn it, the guy's had a tough go of it. And he seems like He's got the heart of a lion. Anyway, that's everything I got to say about it. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Boom!